guys, I'm Krithika Kumar and I'm currently in my Bachelor's of Psychology at University. And today, yes, I'm going to be talking about how to prevent mental illnesses. When it comes to mental health, the stress is always placed more on cure, right? Like how to cure depression, how to cure anxiety, how to get over this, get over that. What do you do? But there's rarely talks on prevention or how to not get into this loophole or how to not fall into this or that. So that's exactly what I'm going to be discussing. And before I get to that, a little heads up that this does exclude a set of diseases or disorders that are inevitable, or in other words, that you cannot prevent because they are genetic in nature, because of certain family history that you might have, or that it could be biological because of certain chemical imbalances, or that you might have had some accidents leading to changes in your brain chemistry. So these are kind of exclusions that we have to make sure to keep when we talk about prevention. So prevention is majorly to those circumstances where we can choose how to react and how not to. So when it comes to dealing with our own life experiences and the people who fall into these categories of disorders because of facing traumas or because of facing stressful life experiences. So how to work around those life situations, that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about. So then this directly correlates with positive psychology, right? So positive psychology is gaining more and more and more attention in the recent times, and it does not it only came up not so long ago actually. Like it's becoming more popular now, which is great. So positive psychologists and the father of positive psychology, Martin Seligman. So Dr. Seligman talks about how it's so important to focus on prevention than cure, and how we can work on being grateful, being hopeful, being optimistic, and being resilient. There are so many terminologies or components that we can work on under positive psychology, and it's kind of, it sounds very simple, but once you really start to think through them all, it makes a lot of sense. And it only makes sense to work on prevention than leading yourself into a path where you don't want to lead yourself to and ending up in a bad state, right? So obviously it I agree to the fact that you cannot stay elated happy all the time, but you can work on achieving a little bit of consistency and balance in life with both the kinds of emotions, be it positive or negative, right? So that's a little bit about positive psychology. So going ahead, the first thing that I think really helps is journaling. Journaling is so amazing. You kind of can see your own track of thinking. You can catch yourself when you are thinking in a certain way, find your own patterns, and kind of go at yourself and laugh at yourself later when you go and read your thoughts like 2-3 days back, right? Trust me, like you will be laughing at your thoughts even if it's like just a couple days back. It's so beautiful where you can build your own palace, and go back and kind of be a tourist around every room of your palace. So kind of observe your own thought patterns and see where you went wrong, where you went right, where you were overthinking, overgeneralizing, catastrophizing, and where you really were blowing things out of proportion. It gives you an opportunity to just examine and amplify your own mind, which is beautiful. So I would say that journaling would be more interesting if you do it every single day and kind of record every single thing that you can recall. it would be very nice to, like prioritize it like properly, like do it at a certain time, like set at least like an hour for journaling so you can write everything down, recall, and write whatever stuff you think you will be able to cover in that 1 hour. And also, it'll be very interesting to write a couple things that you're grateful for every single day. That way, you're also into practicing gratitude, right? Feeling grateful for something or the other every single day, be it having gotten a seat at the subway, or having food at the table, having had 3 meals, or something as simple as just getting up on time, or anything that you are grateful for would be an amazing thing to start off with, that you can also include in your journal with other things. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I think is essential is about having a social support system at all times, or at least having a therapist that you visit regularly for regular checkups on how you're feeling. It's so important to have that back you up, lift you up. I know it's like becoming a trend of like to see a therapist regularly, but there is still stigma around mental health because mental health is associated with mental illnesses often. But you guys, mental health does not mean the absence of mental illnesses. You cannot say you're mentally healthy just because you haven't been diagnosed clinically with depression or anxiety, right? So just see a therapist whenever like you can. It will help you really, and you don't necessarily have to go to a therapist. I know there comes the debate on money, time, and so, but you can visit your friends or talk to somebody, have this support system lift you up whenever you fall, right? Or have someone to hold on to hang on to. So having that social support system is so incredibly essential, and it's only gonna grow in its importance. So if you can't share certain things with your family, at least having those like 2 to 3 friends that can back you up at those times will be very, very, very important. So that's the second thing to always have. The third thing I personally feel like is kind of the most important of all is about practicing self appreciation, self compassion, self love, being kind to yourself. So, we always talk about how it's important to treat others the way you want to be treated, but we don't talk about how you should treat yourself the way you treat others, because that is also an important box to shed light on, because we should be treating ourselves the way we treat others, the way we shed empathy on others, the way we talk to others in their hard times. That's how we want to be to ourselves as well, right? So if I'm having a bad day, if I did not do as well as I thought I would on an exam, or if I had a toxic friendship, how do I overcome that? How do I kind of deal with the aftermath of that? Yes, I can go talk to people, like I said earlier, right? Having this strong support system. But at the same time, what can I do personally to myself to heal my own self, right? That is so important. I can be my own therapy given that I'm good at it. So you cannot kind of, expect yourself to be nice to yourself at those hard times. But what you can do is practice being nice to yourself regularly. So even when you face a bad day, you know that you can be nice to yourself because you've been nice to yourself all along. So when you have the practice of being nice, you won't question yourself being nice to yourself at those hard times, if that makes sense. So practicing being kind, nice, compassionate to yourself is so important, and it's only going to help you and heal you in a way that probably nobody can, right? So we talk about self-esteem a lot of the times, but we know that self-esteem can be, or we let our self-esteem be affected by others' opinions or by what others think of us, right? But the irony is that self-esteem is about self, not about others, right? So my self-esteem should be what I decide about myself. So that's exactly why you don't want to be harsh to yourself, because the more harsh you are to yourself, it's gonna just like jump, like it's gonna go down the drain when you have a bad day because you've been harsh to yourself all along. So practicing being kind to yourself on a regular basis is gonna be so rich, and it's gonna enhance your mental health on so many levels. So self-compassion or self-kindness or self love can be practiced with positive self-talks or by telling yourself that you're doing great, there's no one that can stop you, just keep going, just believe in yourself. All these motivational quotes. I mean, I don't have to be like telling that. There's so many quotes on Google that'll just like pop up. So we have come across all these quotes, right? So actually implying these really will make a difference. So you're not saying, for the sake of saying. You have to really mean what you say. That's when it works. But when you do mean what you say, it really works so well. So that was the third one. So that was about it. I hope it was kind of informative and fun to watch. So if you stayed this far, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much, guys. Have a very good day. Bye.